Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode on the adventures of the Great Banana. So, I actually picked up driving manual pretty quickly. I was getting used to the local driving habits, the roundabouts. I was even able to be at a dead stop on a hill and start going forward again and not really lose an inch. So, everything was starting to come together. We were taking the car to do local errands, and of course, our trips to visit the different Baroque cities in southern Sicily.
In 400 meters at the roundabout, take the second exit onto SP63.
The one great thing about Italian driving are their use of roundabouts. It's way better than lights, way more efficient. The only problem is that when people don't pay attention to the rules and you get a pushy driver that doesn't yield properly, then it can get a little messy. But other than that, roundabouts are great, and the Italians make great use of them.
I got so used to driving that I even started to pick up some of the local driving habits.
Hey, what's the matter with you, eh? Certo. Sì, allora, tranquillo.
Retirement, the final chapter. These are the adventures of the Great Banana. Its one-year mission: to explore strange new foods, to seek out new pastas, and new ways to screw things up. To boldly go where no banana has gone before. So last week we went to Ragusa Ibla, which is the old town. And now today we're going to go visit Modica, another Baroque city in the southern part of Sicily.
So we're on this green tourist train. I know it sounds a little touristy, but it was only $5 and it takes you to all the major sites, and then if there's something that we like, we can always come back and check it out. It was a little bit of an issue finding the train where it departed from. Language is always difficult. To be honest, it's getting a little tiresome. But we're in another person's country. Oh, here comes the explanation of the music. So, talk to you in a bit.
So throughout our series of Baroque cities in southern Sicily, you're going to find us visiting a lot of churches, but they're all so different and unique in their own way. I like watching the artwork and reading a little bit about the history and the architecture. So Modica was basically, there's a great big earthquake in 1693, and a lot of the cities that we're visiting were rebuilt after that earthquake in this Baroque architectural style. Next is the Church of San Pietro, which was built on top of the original church that was destroyed in the earthquake, and the original church was in 1308. This became actually my favorite church so far. It was big, it was opulent, there is so much artwork, and they even let Misty in.
This is Misty's first time at Mass. Or at church.
We actually spent quite a long time in the church. We walked around, really enjoyed the artwork. The background music of the choir was nice. Misty was behaving, and so it was a great experience. It wasn't busy. It was, we pretty much had the whole church to ourselves. So we took advantage of it and just took our time. Now, for a few extra euro, you were allowed to go to the upper part of the church, So there is a small staircase that led to the very top, and they had these massive church bells. So you can see Alicia waving from up there. A few days later, when the weather was nice, we decided to take an overnight trip to Noto. We had heard a lot of great things about the city, and we decided to stay overnight at an Airbnb, which basically just cost us around, I think it was like €80, and spend the night and enjoy our time exploring a new city.
Scottish bagpipers in Italy? Okay, maybe bagpiping is an Italian thing. Did not know that. Okay, there are literally bagpipers every 20 feet. Noto is just this very cool town with all these really interesting buildings. I don't know what they are, but they're beautiful. Again, it's an example of this Baroque style building. It was early 1800s. It's supposed to be really extravagant, over the top, lots of detail. Very cool city.
Now this is the first cathedral that we've seen so far, and it is incredible. This is the Cathedral of St. Nicolo.
Very cool door.
As you can see, it was absolutely massive, and at the time that we were visiting it, the sun was just going down, and it was just this picturesque moment of seeing the blue skies of Noto and the sunset taking place in the background. Since Italians eat late at night, we ended up walking around the city, and we eventually found a place that served both sushi and pizza. A very weird combination, but it was actually quite good, and we ended up paying about €70 for dinner.
Never knew I would speak French.
This is our entrance to our Airbnb. Coming right outside this Baroque street into this palace, into this courtyard with these beautiful arches. I mean, I can't believe they're using this as an Airbnb. I would just keep it myself. And then look at this. Look at the old tree. And you're right beside the Noto, the main cathedral in Noto. I mean, who rents this place out for Airbnb?
So after a comfortable night, we woke up in the morning and decided to go visit some natural parks.
So we're on our way to this nature reserve, and this road is supposed to be two-way, but there's no way it can fit two cars. So we parked up the road, and we're walking in. But there are these walls all over the place, and what's amazing is that there's literally miles and miles of roads. I don't know how long it must have taken for them to build this, but there's no mortar. I don't see any mortar in these rocks. Strange. It's so surreal to see this on our way to the National Reserve. Talk about multi-use terrain.
There's a pathway that goes down into this valley or gorge with the river flowing through it, but the pathway was pretty steep, and I decided that rather than risk spraining my ankle, I should probably stop halfway through, and then Alicia went the rest of the way. So this is the view from up top. It's pretty spectacular, and it's cool because you can see these cutout trails in the sides of these gorges that were there probably for hundreds of years, made by people or that lived in the area. And then here's the view from down below where Alicia went.
Beautiful path. I wish he would be here, but I know it's difficult to climb this. And his ankle is not in good shape.
On our way out,
Yeah.
we ended up running into these guys.
So pretty.
Oh,
Until they start charging.
this is Bitchek.
Oh, Bitchek.
I think so. I don't even know. Is it?
The weather was really nice, so we decided to stop by a few beaches and visit another few hiking trails. And that's when the whole adventure began.
We found this stray puppy and infested with ticks, and they just disappear back into her fur.
So we ended up finding this stray on a hiking trail that we weren't allowed to go on because we had a dog. And it was emaciated, starving, really thirsty. So we decided to help it out a little bit. What ended up happening broke our hearts. When we left, this dog chased us down full speed for over a mile, and we just had to stop. Right there and then, we decided to try to help him out. We decided to bring him back with us and try to find him a home. We wrapped him in a blanket to try to stop the spread of the fleas and ticks, but Alicia was just killing ticks one by one with her bare hands on our hour-and-a-half trip home. For the first 2 days, he slept outside because we didn't want him to spread the ticks and fleas inside the boat. But he was amazing. I mean, he was already potty trained. He would leave the boat to do his business and then come back on. Eventually, after we took him to the vet to get medicine for heartworm, ticks, and fleas, we allowed him to come back on the boat and interact more with Misty. The vet had told us that this puppy was only about 6 to 7 months old. And unfortunately, the situation is that in Sicily there are just a lot of stray dogs, and that it would be difficult to find him a home. Those were tough words to hear, but we were determined to try to find somebody to adopt this amazing puppy. We haven't seen any stray pup like this. He was already so well trained, extremely smart, walked within the first 15 minutes of learning how to be on a leash, and was friendly with Misty, was so affectionate and cuddly. So we decided to hold a meet and greet at the common area where the other boaters would congregate at, so that they could see for themselves what Noto was like. It's just hard to put into words the type of personality that he had.
Okay, we had a little accident. Alicia jumped in after Noto, who fell in the water because he was being given some food. So
Anisha needs a nice bath now, a shower.
But all this effort paid off, and we ended up finding a sweet couple from Switzerland who was looking for a dog to adopt and fell in love with Noto after they just decided to take him for a walk. It became, can we keep him overnight, to, yes, we'd like to adopt him full time. And that was great news. So in about a week's time, Noto is going back home to Switzerland to run around in the forests and the snow before returning back on board their sailboat for their next sailing season in February, March.
Yes.
So it's at this time that we'd like to make a special acknowledgement to Brittany and Ryan, who have this YouTube channel called Sailing Sunday. We've been watching these guys since their very beginning, and it's really inspiring to see the work that they do for stray dogs and cats. And it's shown us that as individuals, we can and we should make a difference. Noto definitely thanks all of us for that. Hope to see you next time on another adventure of the Great Banana.